And boom. What broadcast failed? All right, what's going on, guys? Today I'm gonna be going over like food exhaustion, man, because that's real, right? Especially if you're like trying to put on muscle, and you're like, dang, I just can't take stuff in my face all the time. So we're gonna go ahead and dig into that as soon as I make sure that this phone doesn't fall. Okay, cool. So, question, right? Let's just get right into it. Are you eating more food? Are you in the situation currently eating more food but not putting on any muscle? Okay, and do you get exhausted when you try to eat more food, right? Or do you feel like you're gonna puke, right, from like stuff in your face? Because it doesn't feel good, right? After like the first 10 or 30 minutes, it really doesn't feel good after a while from like stuff in your face. But since you are putting in the effort to eat more food, then it is only right. It's only right that you start putting on muscle. So, first and foremost, I just want to say I definitely understand what that feels like. Because when I first started bulking, one of the things that I try to do is I just try to eat like as much food as possible and stuff my face, right? But sometimes I would run out of gas. I get exhausted, and then I'd be like out of commission, for the next day because I tried to eat a ton of food. So instead of trying to eat a crap ton of food every single day, I started to scale back, and I changed that to just a little bit more food every single day. And that helped, as far as muscle building goes, that helped it become just much more constant and a bit more sustainable over time because I didn't feel like shit. And remember, right? I started at like 165 pounds. Like I was small fry. I was a skinny guy. And then I gotten all the way up to like 223 pounds at one point. And there was no way that I was going to be able to do that if I was just uncontrollably stuffing my face all the time because that hurts, right? So after I got that big, of course, I started to show more guys how to do the same thing. So let's bring this to yourself. Say, for example, you're like at dinner or something, right? Instead of trying to eat this huge extra bowl of spaghetti every single day, let's scale it back a bit, right? And let's think about like brick by brick over time. So instead of a huge plate of spaghetti, let's think about like one of those like bigger muffins. Let's eat one of those every single day instead. And that way, for starters, you'll just feel, you'll look a lot better, right? Because you won't start spilling over or getting fat. You won't get too chubby too quick because you only want to get like, you only want to put on so much fat when you're putting on muscle, right? Because after a while, it doesn't feel good, right? So for one, you'll look better when you do it slower. When you do it slower, and then second, you'll feel better, right? Because you'll be putting on you'll have the constant growth over time. You have the constant progress of like putting on that muscle over time, and then you won't have as much food exhaustion, right? It'll take you a lot longer to get exhausted by eating so much if you're just doing it a little bit at a time rather than being the person that's eating a huge bowl of spaghetti every single day. It's just not it's just not sustainable, and it just doesn't feel good at the end of the day. And this also happens to be one of the major pieces in my one-on-one program that I help guys with. So if you are tired of feeling exhausted as you're trying to eat more food and get bigger, and you're ready to look in the mirror and see like a nice solid extra like 10 pounds of muscle, then check out www.keem-fit.com. Schedule a call. We'll come up with a plan and make sure that we get some muscle on you pretty quick. So in the meantime, guys, I appreciate you guys watching the live. As always, stay great. I'm out.